So a very good afternoon, students. I hope you all are aware. We have to begin with the cost sheet and the problems of cost sheet. So before we begin with the cost sheet, it is very important for you all to know what is the format of cost sheet and what cost sheet exactly is all about. Okay. Now, what is cost sheet? Is basically a cost sheet is a statement which is prepared for weekly, fortnightly, monthly, or a yearly basis. In fact, it is prepared when the management requires the cost information. When is cost sheet prepared? It is prepared only when the management requires cost information, and also it is prepared on basis of weekly, monthly, yearly, or fortnightly basis. Cost statements are used in industries which adopt single output. Okay, either adopt single output or unit costing. Now, what is single output or unit costing is basically, if you have production, now you will have different things in production also, right? So basically it is taken into consideration each and every unit. Suppose it is taken into consideration raw materials separately, labor separately, materials, wages, everything. It is taking into consideration on unit basis. It is giving individual preference to each and everything. Okay, for example of such industries are brick, coal, paper, consumable durables, fan, lights, refrigerators, etc. So basically it is giving equal importance to each and every cost. It could be your direct cost, it could be indirect cost. There are various costs which are occurred, right? So individual preferences given. Now moving on to what exactly the format is all about is, firstly, in your format you will write down which company it is. It could be ABC company or it could be XYZ company. After which you will write cost statement for the period ending. Now the period would be given, it could be 2019, 2020, or whatever is such. You need to mention down the period. Now you have particulars and two columns of amount. In your particulars, the first one you will write down is your opening stock of raw materials. Now in your question, all of this information will be mentioned. Whether you have an opening stock, you'll have a closing stock, whatever it is. Firstly, as per the format, you will write down the opening stock of materials and you will take the amount. Next, you will add opening stock with purchases during the period. Whatever the purchases have been made, if information is given, you will add it. And you will also add carriage inwards. Okay, you will add carriage inwards also and take the amount. Now, after you take the total of the three, you will add opening stock, purchases, carriage inwards, and you will take the total. You will deduct this particular total you will take the total and you will deduct it with closing stock of raw materials. After you deduct it with the closing stock of raw materials, you will get the actual raw materials which are consumed. Okay, you will get the raw materials which are consumed. Now moving on, this was part A. Now moving on to part B, you will be taken into consideration all of your expenditures and your costs and everything, whatever information is given. You will add direct wages, you will add outstanding. Okay, if you have any outstanding amount. You will take into consideration other direct cost, which is your expense, after which you will get your prime cost. Okay, now with raw materials consumed, once you get the total of the first part, you will add it with the direct wages and you will get the total. Now this total will be your other direct cost or your expenses. Okay, now after which you will go to part B. Your part B is your prime cost. You will take all your prime costs into consideration. Now what are your prime costs is indirect. Firstly, you will take factory or manufacturing or work overheads. It could be either factory overhead. To simplify it, you will take what amount is given. Okay, factory overhead, you will take the amount. Now until now, when you're doing your part A, all the amounts will come only in the first column. From part B, that is factory overhead, it will start coming in the second column, if you can notice. Now secondly, you will add your prime cost, that is your factory overhead or your manufacturing or your works overhead. Then indirect manufacture cost, that is works on cost, indirect manufacture consumed, indirect factory wages, unproductive wages. All of this you need to by heart as to what are the headings that are coming into this particular heading, that is factory overheads. Okay, indirect factory wages, if it is given, you can take it. Unproductive wages, factory rent, power, lighting, heating, repair, haulage, depreciation on factory building, all of this amounts will be taken here. Okay, you can take it individually. Factory rent will be given separately. You can give the subheadings and you can take it. You will see it in the problems when we work out. Then after taking all of this, you will take this total and you will add it with this one to get your opening work in progress. Okay, once you get your opening work in progress, this particular total you will deduct it with closing stock of work of progress minus your scrap. Okay, after which you will get your factory cost of works cost. Now you had your factory overhead as your heading, so after you deduct all your scrap value or your closing your scrap value and your closing stock of work in progress, you will get your factory cost of works cost, after which you will take plus add it with office and administration overheads, administration expense. That is, your administration expense could be the following: it could be office rent, it could be salary, it could be repairs, it could be maintenance, depreciation of office furniture, machines, equipments, postage, stationery, printing, telegrams, phone, fax, email, telex, directors fees, auditors fees. These could all be your administration expenses. You will take the total. Now next part is your cost of production. Your part A is your opening stock, your part B is your overhead your part B is your your part B is your prime cost, and under which you will have your factory overheads. Your part C is your factory cost, the total which you're getting. Your part D is the cost of production, under which you will be taking opening stock of finished goods minus your closing stock of finished goods, after which all of this will be taken in the last column. Okay, as I told you all, in the last column you will be deducting your opening stock of finished goods and my closing stock of finished goods. Next you have cost of goods sold plus selling and distribution overheads. Now what will be coming under your selling and distribution overheads is your marketing expenses, that is your rent, salary, commission, advertisement, bad debts, traveling, sales, promotion. Example, you have a lot, you can refer to it in your notes. After which you will have your depreciation after sales expense, goods, finished goods handling, etc. Now your last part that you need to calculate is your cost of sales or total cost. That will give you your profit or loss. Okay, it will be given. Finally, you will get the sales or the selling price. I hope the format is very clear. You will not be able to do the problem unless you do not by heart the particular format. You will have to know under what heading, what expense is coming. Only then you will be able to work out the problem effectively.